everyone, welcome to another Procreate Dreams animation tutorial. This is the animation that we will be completing in today's video. So if you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials and Procreate Dreams tutorials, so if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra tutorials over on Patreon, so if you'd like to check that out, it's linked in the description below. I have a lot of cool exclusive tutorials available over there. So before we get started, this drawing is from a Procreate tutorial that we just did. So if you want to draw it yourself, I have that tutorial linked into the description below. So you can go follow that video, draw the heart icon yourself, and then come back to do the animation part. If you don't want to draw it yourself, that's totally fine. I will include my file for you so that you can just do the animation. So that is linked in the description below if you want to download that. It's totally free to download. Just save the file that downloads to your iPad into your files to come back and import when we start our animation. If you did the drawing, stick around for the very beginning of the video where we go in and export our Procreate file. For the animation, we will need to sync a couple layers and add our little outline that comes off of our heart as a new layer, but that is a very quick process. So we will do that at the very, very beginning. If you are using my file, go ahead and skip to this timestamp here to skip all of the Procreate stuff that we do and go straight into the Dreams animation part. At the very beginning of the Dreams section, we will also set up our stage and everything together. So either have your drawing or my file ready to go, and then we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so first things first, in order to get our Procreate file ready for Procreate Dreams, we will be in this file. If you want to make a duplicate of it, you can. We're just going to adjust a few things really quick. So on our layer menu, the first thing that we're going to do is snap a few things together. So our heart and the two clipping masks above it, we'll snap those onto one layer. And then our two heart shadows that we did a little bit differently, we're going to snap those together on one layer. So we should have the shadow for our square, the shadow for our heart, and our heart. We're also going to make a layer for our background color. So I am going to add a layer, drag it right below everything right above my background color layer. I'm going to hold on this, or again, if you have the color palette, select the first color on the first row and drag and drop it onto this new layer here at the bottom so that we have a layer with that color on it. Okay, and then lastly, we just need the glow around the heart to do our little animation. So to do that, we'll go to the top layer with our heart on it. Slide to the left and hit duplicate. Grab the bottom one. We are going to grab a bright white color, so just the whitest color we can on our color selector. Back to our layer menu, click on this heart layer and click on it and click fill layer, so you should have a white heart. Click on it again and turn off alpha lock and wand icon. Gaussian blur, we're going to drag this up to maybe 10 to 15%, somewhere in there. Maybe I'll do 15. Okay, let's go ahead and make it a little bit brighter. So on our layer menu, I'll make a duplicate of this glow layer that we just created. So slide to the left and hit duplicate. Okay, snap those together so the whole white glow is on one layer. Okay, now we are going to go back to our layer on the top, click on it and click select. Make sure color fill is turned off. Anything else, so it should just be freehand and add. Okay, go back to our layer menu, switch to our heart layer. Click our arrow tool and it'll select the selection inside of our heart. Drag it off the screen. Click our arrow tool again. So now it just selected the heart shape from our heart glow. So all we should have left on this layer now is a little outline of this glow. And that's what we'll use in the animation. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of time to rename these before we export it. So I'll just go up on the list. Do this one as background. Shadow 1. Square. Shadow 2. Outline. and heart. Okay, so those are all the layers that you should have, and now we're ready to export it. So we'll do gear icon, share, and export it as a Procreate file. And save it to your files. I'm going to title it heart icon and click save. Okay, once that's exported, we are ready to just switch into Procreate Dreams and start our new dream. So I'm going to go back to the home page here. Okay, we'll click the plus icon to add a new dream, switch to square, and click empty. The first thing that we'll do is make some adjustments to it. So let's click on this dream number button to change some things. Under properties, frames per second we'll leave at 24. We'll set the duration to 10 seconds. And we'll set the width to match our Procreate file that we just exported, which is 3000 by 3000. Or just make it a square, whatever size square you can, because I know some iPads don't support this size of a square. So whatever you can get where these numbers are the same, so you get a square, go ahead and use that. Okay, timeline, we're going to click loop. This is just for the animation to play at the end. It's not an actual looping animation, but this will just help us when we go to watch it. And then click done. Okay, now we need to add our files. So click the plus button, files, find the file where you downloaded it, the Procreate file, and click open. So then that will import. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit so we can see our 10 seconds better. And then if you need to resize this while you're here, if you had to use a smaller square, just tap on it and you can resize it with one of the corners and it'll resize to the center. So just, our background layer can even extend past it a little bit. That's fine. But as long as you get like the shadow and everything else inside the stage, that will work. So do that if you need to. Otherwise, let's just hold on this and click convert layers to tracks. So now all of our different layers, if we open up this group here with the arrow there, we have all of our different layers inside here to start working with. So we have our background layer, that'll just stay the same. We have our first shadow behind our square and our heart shadow behind the outline and the heart. And then this one at the top is the group, and that selects all of it. So you can select each track individually or select the group to select them all. Now we can start animating. So let's just go ahead and start going down the list. I'm going to start unchecking some of these. So I'll uncheck the heart, the outline, the shadow 2, and the shadow 1. Let's just start with our square being the first one that we do. So the square is still on. Our background, obviously we'll just leave that one alone. Okay, but for our square, we are simply going to have it be invisible at the start. It's going to come in at 2 seconds and it's going to spin around as it comes in. So let's just go on our track here. I'm going to slide our playhead to 2 seconds, tap the movie button. Click move, move and scale. Okay, so at this point we're here. Our size is 1 for scale X and scale Y. We're going to do our rotation here, tap into that. We're going to do 360. Okay, so that is just, a full circle from where it starts at 0. But it'll be exactly where we want it to end up. Okay, then we're going to tap into this move and scale keyframe that was automatically set at 0 seconds, and we're going to set the scale X to 0 and the scale Y to 0 so that it is invisible to start. And then we can go ahead and play it from the beginning and it'll spin in and get bigger at 2 seconds. Okay, if you hold on this move and scale, you can click set all easings and you can mess around with these if you want to. I'm going to set mine to ease in and out, which is what it automatically is set to. But if you want to mess around with the other ones, you totally can, but I think that looks great. For example, I'll just show you like what linear would look like. Not quite as fun, but you do whatever you would like to, but I'm going to set mine back to ease in and out. Okay, now we need to change the shadow that will come in underneath it. So we can't have our shadow come in until this comes in. So let's do our shadow 1 layer, check it to turn it back on. Okay, and so at 2 seconds when this comes in, we're going to have our shadow fade in. So I'm going to set my playhead to 2 seconds right now. Click the movie button, and we are going to click filter and click opacity. So at this point, I want it at 0 still. So at 2 seconds where we started, I want this set to 0. It's just going to take 1 second to come in. So right at 3 seconds here, I'll tap down on my little opacity line here and tap to make another keyframe there and set it to 100. I'm going to click into the beginning one that was automatically set and set that to 0 as well. So it starts at 0, at 2 seconds it's still 0, and then from 2 to 3 seconds it grows to 100%. So let's go ahead and replay this. So that comes in, this fades in. I'm going to change this one to linear, so it's probably set to ease in and out. So I'm going to hold on it, click set all easings to linear. And then let's see how that looks, just kind of gradually grows in. Now we can move on to our heart. So we'll first just have our heart come in, and then we'll add the beats to it. So let's go to our heart layer at the top, click to turn it back on. After our square comes in at 2 seconds, our heart will come in from 2 to 3 seconds. So let's set our playhead for our heart track here to 2 seconds. Click the movie button, move, and scale. Okay, so let's tap down to 3 seconds and tap to make another keyframe there. So at 3 seconds, it will be scale X and Y at 1. At 2 seconds here, we'll do scale X and Y at 0. And at the beginning, we'll set scale X and Y to 0 as well. So again, it starts invisible. At 2 seconds, it's still invisible. And then from 2 to 3 seconds, it grows to 100% for size. Again, since the last one that we set was linear for our shadow, this one also automatically set to linear, and I would like it to be ease in and out. So I'm going to hold on it, click set all easings to ease in and out, and we'll watch that again. Very nice. Okay, we'll end up putting our heart shadow in at about this, like right after this comes in, but we can do that last. Let's go ahead and work on our beats now since we're already here and we want it to be set to ease in and out still. So let's just keep on going with this. So from 2 to 3 seconds, it comes in. Then it's going to start beating, and we're going to do a very, very specific thing for these beats. So we are going to use these lines at the top. So I'm really zoomed in here. I stretched it, I zoomed it. These lines at the top, these brighter white lines here, those are the lines that we're going to use to set all these beats up. So your keyframe at 3 seconds should be where our heart comes in. Then we're going to go down 3 white lines. So 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines. That's where we're going to start our beats. So we're going to be on our move and scale line. We're going to tap once to add a keyframe there on our 3rd beat. We're going to go down 1 more, tap to add another one, down 1 more, tap to add another one, 1 more, and 1 more, so that we have 5 total here all in a row. So there's 3 spaces and then 5 in a row on each of these white lines. Okay, so this is kind of our set of beats. On our first one of the 5, we're still set to 1 for scale X and Y. Our second one, we're going to tap into that and we're going to set this to 1.1 and 1.1. Okay, our third one should be set to 1. Our fourth one, again, 1.1 and 1.1. And then our fifth one is just set to 1. Okay, so again, from 3 seconds, there's 1, 2, 3. That's where our first one is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. And the first one, third one, and fifth one are all set to 1. And then our second and fourth ones are set to 1.1. So then if we start from just like a little before here, we'll play it, and those are our beats. So we're going to keep doing that all the way down. So it's kind of a little bit of a tedious process, but you'll get the hang of it. So my last one in this one is at my first one right after 4 seconds. So that's where yours should be as well. Then I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3. So mine is at 17 here, if that's the same for you. That's what the top of mine says here. From 4 seconds, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 after. That's where we'll start. So 1, 2, my third one here is at 5 seconds, and then the 1 and 2 after 5. That makes up my next 5. I'm going to tap into the second one, 1.1, and tap into the fourth one, 1.1. Okay. Then again, after this last one, we'll do 1, 2, 3, and that's where we'll start. So there's 1. My second one is on 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1.1 on the second. And 1.1 on the fourth. Okay. Then after my fifth one here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So now I'm right on 7 seconds on my moving scale line. I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set the second one to 1.1 and the fourth one to 1.1. And then again, we go down 1, 2, 3. So I'm at 1 after 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I think we have room for one more. So 1, 2, 3. I'm at 2 after 9, and that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 would be like right at 10. So however close you can get to the end, there might be like a smaller gap in between these last 2 keyframes, but that's okay. So just as close as you can get it to the very end of your 10-second line here. So then again, we'll tap into the second one, and the second and the fourth one. Okay, so then if we play from the beginning, we should see this all happen. So our stuff comes in, our shadow and our heart, and then it beats all the way down the line like so. Awesome. Okay, as the heart is beating, our little white flares will start going off. So in order to set that up, here is what we will do. Let's go ahead and turn on our outline layer. So just check that back on. I'm going to drag the very beginning of it. So hold on it and drag it up till we get around this first section of our beats at about like 3.5 seconds. I'm going to go to the end and I'm going to drag the end in quite a bit as well. Okay, then I'm going to zoom in here and we're going to drag it in now further. So we're going to drag the very beginning to start right at our second frame here where our first beat is. So the first one that's set to 1.1. Then our ending for the outline, I'm going to drag. So I'm going to have the ending. I'm going to drag that till it's just past my third beat. So I'm like 1 tick mark at the top here past my third beat. So right past 21 there. I don't know if your numbers are the same, but right, this third beat is on this white line. I'm 1 past the white line in the smaller kind of gray lines. Okay. So we are going to set both a move and scale and an opacity on this. So let's start at the beginning here. Tap the movie button, move and scale. So our first one set at the beginning, we're going to tap into that and set our scale X and scale Y to 1.1, which is the size of our heart at that point. And then at the end, we'll tap to make another move and scale, click on it and set it to 1.6 for both X and Y. I'm going to hold on this and click Set All Easings to Linear. So we want this one to be linear. Then go ahead and click play and you can see that go off. Okay. We also want it to fade out at the end. So from beginning to end, it's going to fade. So we'll tap at the beginning of this again, click our movie button, filter this time, and opacity. At the beginning, we'll have it set to 100, and then tap at the end on our opacity slider here, set another keyframe, and set this to 50. So we don't want it to fade out all the way, but we want it to just start fading out, and then it disappears right where this ends. So it's gone anyway. But again, let's hold this and click Set Easing to Linear. So that is what that little beat looks like. Okay, so that is all set up and good to go. Now we can just make duplicates of this for each time it beats. So I'll tap this little outline piece, hold on it, and click duplicate, and it sets one on the same track just right next to it. I'm going to tap on this one, then hold and move it down the line a little bit so it's lined up with this fourth beat in our section of 5 here. So that is for each time it beats, the little outline goes off. Okay, we'll do that now for each one. So I'm going to hold on this again, click duplicate, click on it and drag it down and line it up with our second keyframe in this in this section of 5. Hold in it again, duplicate again, drag it down to the 4th one now. Okay, duplicate, drag it down to the 2nd one here, duplicate, drag it to the 4th, duplicate, drag it to the 2nd, or the next one, duplicate, drag it to the 4th, duplicate, 2nd, duplicate, 4th, and we're almost to the end. Drag it to the 2nd, and then again duplicate, and again now at the end here we'll drag it up to the 4th, and it'll probably go off the screen a little bit on the side and kind of cut itself off, but that's okay. That'll be our last one. Okay, let's go back to the beginning, zoom out so we can see this whole timeline, and we'll play it again from the beginning, and our heart goes and our beats go with it, so just make sure those all look correct and lined up and stuff all the way to the end. Okay, lastly, we just have our heart shadow here, which still hasn't come in, so we will bring that in. So shadow 2 here, we'll turn that back on. And again, we're going to have this come in right after the heart does, so the heart comes in at 3 seconds. So from 3 to 4 seconds, we'll have the shadow come in. So with our playhead set to 3 seconds, on this shadow 2 track, we'll click our movie button, and we will click filter and opacity. At the 3 seconds where we're at right now, we'll drag it down to 0. Then let's set it down to 4, click it again to add a new keyframe and set it to 100. Let's hold on this and click set all easings to linear, and then tap on our very beginning one and set that to 0 also, so it's gone at the beginning. So it starts at 0, at 3 seconds it's still 0, and then from 3 to 4 seconds it comes in to 100%. So I am now going to, once that's done, tap on my screen with 4 fingers to bring up our preview and play the animation because it is now done. Okay, so that's it for our animation today. So I hope that you had fun. I hope that you liked the way that yours turned out. I hope that you maybe learned something new. So please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave some comments below to tell me your thoughts or let me know what you'd like to see next. If you'd like to share your animation on Instagram, I would love to see it. So go ahead and post it there and then tag me so that I can check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching.